Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm studying the French Revolution in Age of Reason, and I decided to look into how women were involved in the French Revolution. My primary source was very helpful in that it had letters from women in the French Revolution that they sent to the king to try to make a difference in their roles in society. I only used one source, which was the George Mason University website exploring French Revolution. It was really helpful and it had many different links and essays that I could look at. My primary source was interesting because when I was reading certain parts of it, I really knew why these women were upset because I got to read their exact letters complaining about their lack of rights. Women did not have the right to meet as a group. They did not have the right to vote. Some women would attempt to get their voice heard by sending letters to the king. But women didn't want to make men powerless. They just wanted to become more educated and more useful in the community and society. The Estates General helped them become much more involved in society. The letters sent to the king were very polite when they wrote them, and they didn't use mean language, and they weren't rude to try to get their point across. And this really helped them be heard because they were polite. Women had a much different property and financial right than men did. These differences led to women rioting and protesting, and most of these women protested in groups rather than individually. One main thing that these women wanted granted was that they wanted more food to feed their families, which was a pretty common thing. And so they would riot and protest, mostly for that. Women began to meet in groups once it was legal, such as the Circle Social, which helped build a campaign to support women's rights in 1790. It only lasted 1 year, but it was very controversial, but it helped women gain more rights. These groups helped women realize that the rights were not given to them as promised, and it helped them change many things in the French Revolution. Although these women tried, they never really completed the task of gaining full political rights in the French Revolution. A lot of this is because they weren't allowed to vote, so therefore no woman could vote to make a change for women. A lot of women were arrested when trying to make a change for women's rights because it was seen as counter-revolutionary. After many trials and errors, women started making their way into society in a revolutionary way. There began to be universal figures that were portrayed as powerful and important, but they were females, which was a very big deal, and women noticed that. But overall, women were extremely involved in the French Revolution, whether they knew it or not. This was a very interesting topic for me, because being a girl, I take my rights for granted. After reading this primary source, I recognize how much things have changed from the French Revolution to now. It's really interesting to think that these women so many years ago made an impact on my life and made an impact on what rights that I have. I also don't even think twice about equal rights with men and women, and these women in the French Revolution had to fight for simple things like food for their families and other common things.